It has been 2 weeks since the Emperor requested the Countess's presence at the Imperial City. The Emperor would like to know, no, he demands to know, why the Countess has not made the time to attend. As you can see by my own presence here today, it's absolutely imperative that she does.
I am sorry, Lord Chancellor. I will make sure the Countess learns of the urgency to attend.
One might begin to think the Countess is avoiding her duties to the Empire. One might think Lady Sigun has become the Countess-in-waiting, while her daughter...
Enough! Lord Chancellor, mind your tone and manners. Please inform the Emperor the Countess will be forthcoming. I shall personally make sure she attends as soon as possible.
Please do. I would hate to have to find and escort her to the palace myself. I think you understand the gravity of this needless situation only too well. You have 1 week from today to comply. Good day, Lady Sigun.
Dragonborn!
Case of farmer's chickens killed by dog.
Ceres, I knew you would be here.
We have an obligation to protect and serve the descendants of Morgan of Winterhold.
My lady, do you mean...
Of course, Sigon asked me to come. Here I am.
We only have 3 left.
Lady Sigun is in parley. Come, we can wait in the cabinet room.
That's a lie. He's let them chickens run around wild. They came over my fence, my lady.
How many chickens are we talking about?
That'd be 6 chickens, my lady. Worth 6 septims, they is. It ain't my fault, my lady. I ain't got those 6 septims. Me auntie, she recently hurt her elbow.
Enough! Jimmy, listen to me carefully. If I hear of your dog again, it will cease to be. Do you understand?
Yes, my lady.
Malisam, take
Just
6
stand
septims
around.
from the court purse and compensate
It's
the
court
plaintiff.
protocol until Lady Sigun asks us to sit.
Dragonborn! Thank the gods you came! How many years now? Well met.
Too many. I got your letter, Sigun.
She did write you, you know, but we could never find you.
How is she?
She's fine. You know Rigmor. When we first arrived, it took some time to get used to our new lives. She didn't take too well to living here in the keep. Our old house is now her apartment. I have been left to attend to the more mundane courtly duties, with the help of court advisor Malisam and Master Freathoff.
Ah, Guardian, alive and well. I am so pleased to make your acquaintance once again.
Melsom, I take it you have settled in well.
I seem to have this preference for cold, wintry places. We feel right at home here, don't we, Keris? Please let me introduce you to Master Freathoff, a scholar and court mage to the Countess.
I have heard so much about you, Guardian. It's good to finally meet you at long last.
Come, let's sit. Help yourselves to refreshments. Well met.
Sigun, what's all this about, and who was that back there?
Martin Blackwell, Lord Chancellor to the Emperor.
A very dangerous man, Guardian. He heads a very secretive and powerful spy network. Former Lord Chancellor to Titus Mead II, and now does the bidding of the new dynasty.
So he supports this usurper?
His loyalties lie in the sworn oath to protect and serve the Imperial throne, no matter whose behind rests upon it. He became bitter after failing to find Titus Mede II, leaving a rather long and bloody trail behind him. He blames the Dark Brotherhood and utterly crushed the underground ring here in Cyrodiil. But he is cruel and devious, and we have good cause to fear him.
What has this all to do with Rigmor?
Before he can be coronated, the Emperor needs Rigmor to sign the noble decree.
Yes. Our bandit king is to bestow upon himself the title of Titus Mede III. Rigmor has yet to sign it, but to do so, she would have to enter the nest of vipers. I cannot be sure whether they know of Rigmor's true ancestry. If they do, she would be considered a pretender to the Imperial throne.
Sethius is a common bandit. Although very powerful, he is no noble. As far as we know, Titus Mede II left no living heir. As the noble houses of Cyrodiil bickered and argued, Sethius took the throne by right of combat. As Titus Mede I took the throne from Thules 200 years ago. Rigmor's ancestral link to Titus Mede I puts her in grave danger if Sethius were to find out.
If all she does is have to sign this document, so be it. But we cannot let her go alone. However much I hate what has happened to Cyrodiil, this bandit king becoming emperor by right of combat. We cannot change that, and don't want to. When the war happened, Sethius sent envoys. We told them Bruma was a free city. We wanted no trouble. I didn't want a repeat of what happened to Leowyn.
It was virtually razed to the ground. Half the populace put to the sword in a shining example of the ruthlessness of our new liege. All the nobles, including ourselves, took a chance of amnesty, laid down our arms, and signed the white gold settlement of the year 203 of the Fourth Era. We were left as a free city only until recently. Cepheus now wants us to sign the noble decree as well. Apparently he needs it to legally become part of the Mede dynasty. Bruma is, after all, part of Cyrodiil and the Empire.
This Sethius, what of him? Bandit king, you say?
Free of off.
He was always causing problems here in Cyrodiil. After the disappearance of Mede II, his bandit army grew so big not even the legions could contain it.
His army would attack and plunder at will. The Imperial Court, in absence of the Emperor, sent for General Quintus Vitalis of the Northern Army. By the time Quintus arrived, it was all but over. Cepheus had marched into the Imperial city with some 5,000 men. Quintus could not cross the bridge.
The Imperial Court surrendered the city. Quintus was sent with the Northern Legion to the Hammerfell border to protect Anvil, effectively stopping Red Guard nomad bandits from the Brenner River area. You see, Guardian, now there is peace in Cyrodiil. What was destroyed is being rebuilt. There are no raids and attacks on the counties anymore. The bandit army became overnight the new Imperial army. Our only concern is Rigmor's welfare.
But by her nobility, Rigmor is now caught up in this ridiculous power play. We just want her to sign the document and return home. But as Jonte says, if they know, she might not return at all, and we cannot risk the chance that they do.
Don't worry. I'll escort Rigmor to the palace. Where is she?
If only I knew. I'll let Jonte fill you in on the current situation with my daughter. I must apologize, Dragonborn. I'm so tired and must retire. Once you've finished here, Carries will show you to your room.
Melisum.
Ah, yes, the errant countess. Rigmore is a law unto herself. I had hoped she might someday take responsibility for her newfound position, but it's not going to happen anytime soon, is it? Really? I'm afraid.
Still a rebel at heart?
You could put it that way, Guardian, but she seems happy when she does grace us with her presence. Of late, she's been spending her time between the Tap and Tack Ale House and the Roxy Inn. The latter is a mile south of this side of Lake Rumer.
I had hoped she had found what she was looking for.
If she does frequent Brumer, she abodes at her apartment behind the cathedral, 5th house along from the inn in the lower quarter, or the Tap and Tack. You might try there first. Ask about. She keeps unruly company, and of late has been in the company of Count Leowin's son, Robert de Medalius.
Robert de Medalius?
After the sacking of Leowin and the murder of the Count and his family, Cepheus placed one of his trusted henchmen in the Count of Leowin's place. Robert is his son. Sigun and I tried to advise Rigmore that he is not of noble character. We had hoped to match her with the Count of Coral's son, and she took absolutely no notice whatsoever, and did as she always does. Her own thing, essentially.
He had better be taking good care of her.
Guardian, as long as she's happy, or as happy as can be considering her traumatic past, we are happy too. However you feel or felt for Rigmore, and I do know you became close, you were, after all, a guardian. Time moves on, but there's something else.
Go on.
Ariel Cepheus is a weak emperor. He is not the true power behind the throne. If it were a simple case of escorting Rigmore to the Imperial Court to simply sign the document, I would have sent an escort from the Brumer garrison, which would have sufficed. As you know, as a disciple of my beloved mistress, I have certain privileges and insight, and there is indeed a very real concern Rigmore would be in danger at the court.
What are you trying to tell me, Melisum?
We believe Cepheus' wife is a daughter of Cold Harbor.
Rumors are she is 300 years old, yet her skin maintains a likeness akin to that of porcelain.
We believe she is behind Cepheus' rise through the bandit ranks, and ultimately responsible for the usurpation of the Imperial throne.
Daughter of Cold Harbor.
Yes, a vampire. My mistress thinks so. As far as we know, she is never seen in daylight at all.
Have children been disappearing here in Cyrodiil?
I think Friafoth is better informed to explain further.
There used to be many years ago, but it stopped all of a sudden after the catastrophe.
Continue, Friafoth. It's all right. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Friafoth was tutor to the former Countess of Brumer, Guardian, and can also explain the terrible manner in which the position became available.
Freithof.
For many years I had served the former Count and Countess of Bruma, and schooled their only child, a daughter, in the ways of nobility, etiquette, and math. The Countess lost her husband in a riding accident when... I can't bring myself to say her name. One night, Sophia just disappeared. Oh, we searched. I never gave up. But as the weeks turned into months, the poor Countess became withdrawn. She lost the will to live and died of a broken heart. When Milady Rigmore arrived, she told me all about what had befallen her in Skyrim, how you had rescued Sorella, and how a similar thing that happened to Sophia happened to Sorella. That she, too, had bad dreams, heard voices calling her. I wish I'd taken more notice of the poor child. But that you rescued Sorella after an encounter with a coven of witch devils.
It didn't work out for them.
After investigating the disappearance of children in Cyrodiil, it stopped altogether about the time the coven was destroyed.
Same time as the rise of the Bandit King?
Sophia was the last. I fear I must also retire. Recalling this terrible event has taken its toll.
Can we trust that guy?
Oh, no doubt at all, Guardian. Rigmore's arrival saved him. They get along very well indeed, and she is rather fond of him. She rarely speaks to me, though, or her mother, if she does come to the castle. She thinks we meddle too much in her life, but she will confide in Friafoth.
Finding Rigmore has all of a sudden become more urgent.
There must be more to this. Dark sets of events, Guardian. Something that eludes us. To have such powers of recalling, it all ties into my suspicions, but Cepheus is not an uncommon name. We could, of course, be completely and utterly wrong.
If all has gone quiet, where did they go, and why stop now?
I'll have to conduct some investigations. Hammerfell would be a good starting point. After all, a brood mother must have a brood, and fledglings cannot help but make a lot of noise. I would advise you to rest for a while. If there are more sinister reasons to what's behind the Imperial throne, it certainly won't be anything to do with a young errant know-it-all. But we can't take the chance they know of her ancestry.
You did the right thing sending for me.
Keris will show you to your room. I must bid you good night.
Well met.
Ceres.
Follow me, Dragonborn. It's so good to see you. And Malasam prefers the college to the keep, but I actually like it here. The college is all I've ever known, mostly. And I still go there sometimes, but the keep feels so much more secure and not ready to fall into the sea. This way, Dragonborn. This is the Lord's Hall. Malasan and I share the same room in the lower part of the living quarters, along with Threofoth. But we do have a special room reserved for important guests in the upper quarters. Lady Sigun resides here. The rooms are right next to Lady Rigmore's room. Dragonborn, it's going to be hard for her when she sees you again. Don't think you can just walk back into her life and begin where you left off. Well met.
How is she?
She's fine. But lately it's been difficult for her to settle down.
This situation with Robert?
Why does he concern you?
Ex-intimate lover. Ceres, I still love her.
Dragonborn, it's been a long time and people move on. She did try to write, and it was hard for her to let you go. She depended on you. She loved you with all her heart. But now she is happy again and is finding her own way, however that way may be. If you really love her, really in your heart, you will accept her how she is now.
I know what you're saying, but I can't let it go. We had something special.
Rigmore told me she was intimate with you. But you must let her go. And gods forbid you tell anyone. You must never tell anyone. Not Malasam, Sigun, no one. It doesn't work that way anymore. She's nobility, and she is with Bobby now.
Bobby?
Yes, Robert. He really is a nice, charming man. He tries. Although she can be a handful, he's good for her. He cares about her. Please don't ruin it.
Maybe you're right.
Go to the Tap and Tack and speak to Colin. He's the barkeeper there. If there are any rumours to be had, he is the one to talk to. He might be able to help you. Failing that, take this key to Rigmore's apartment. If she's not there, you might find some clues as to where she is.
We're on to you. We know what you are.
What have you got for sale?
Take a look.
Can I help you?
I am looking for Rigmore. I was told you might be able to help me.
Rigmore, huh? Saw her about a week ago. She came in here with that Leowin boy. What's his name again? Oh yeah, Robert. There was a bit of a scuffle with some of the locals and his bodyguards.
Bodyguards?
Yeah, he doesn't go anywhere without them. One is a huge ox called Grom, a Nord. The other is a sly little fellow, would knife you in the back without a second thought. They call him Tiny. I told me Lady Rigmore it would be best to leave. She paid for any damage and they left. Haven't seen her since.
I was hoping she was keeping out of trouble.
That girl? She's a wildcat. Hardly surprising with what she's been through.
Do you know her well?
Watch the kid grow up. The family was well respected in Bruma. When they took them all away, it was quite a shock. No one heard anything for years. Then just a little after the Count fell off his horse, she returned. Deeds, titles, the whole shebang. The whole city turned out. That was a day to remember.
So she didn't take too well to her newfound role?
She just wanted to be like everyone else. I know recently she moved out of the keep and now stays at her apartment. It's just around the corner. She doesn't go there often though, but it's worth a try. Out the door, 5th house on the left.
I'll check that out. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure. Don't forget, if you want to taste some fine ales, this is the place to visit.
One life ends another. Dead man hanging in the tree. He was waiting for his other 3. The wife never cried. Something in the little girl died. Selfish reasons for the wife. Little did she know it was more than one ended life. Little girl sleep. Little lonely girl in deep. Never to awaken to another sunrise. Only then was the wife's errors realized. End one life and end another. Not forgotten. Cast adrift in this time, paying for someone else's crime. make my flesh cry red. Cruel words me said. Make me cry, make me want to die. But one thing is certain. I will not let fate close the curtain. But you will not break me. I will not let you see. I will defy you to my very last breath, even on the brink of death. I am not forgotten by those I love. Okay. I've never kept a diary before, so here goes. Frithov has encouraged me to do it. Says it'll be good for me. Actually, it's a bit weird, like talking to myself. But now I've moved back into the old house, my apartment. I can finally begin to breathe again. I know Mom's disappointed with me, but she doesn't show it. As for Malasam, he can do one. The keep made me feel suffocated, and after everything I've been through, I just need a little more time to adjust and my own space to do it in. Frithov has been great and understands, and has been really helpful. Carice too, and the poetry and drawings have also helped me focus a lot. I have to move on, start afresh. I have had to come to terms I might never see Dragonborn again. Those first years were especially hard for me. After getting no replies from my letters, I resigned myself to the fact Dragonborn has moved on too. Even now, I wake up in a cold sweat, calling out, "Who is that sitting at the foot of my bed? Is that you? Have you come back for me?" But it's only the shadows. Apparently, it's normal. You create a certain bond. I never knew that feeling before. You would do anything for those that you trust and come to love. You give yourself freely, openly, with no words needed, with just the slightest passing glance you see into someone's soul. The sacrifices you would make in a heartbeat for that person, no questions asked. The sacrifices Dragonborn made for me. To be free and happy. Ties that bind. For eternity. But I have moved on now. And if they think I'm going to marry that Coral kid, they've got another thing coming, and Malasam can shove his protocol up his ass. I only put up with him because of Carice. Malasam's one defining feature in his life was adopting her as a small child. I finally found out what was between them. She's his daughter and protege. Apparently, on a pilgrimage to the shrine of his beloved mistress, he passed a ransacked burning wagon train and came across Carice wandering disoriented in the road, calling for her parents. She was 3 years old. I love Carice. We share something in common. We're sisters. What a shitty, cruel world we have been born into. Oh, and I have first-hand experience of that. But now, I think I've earned myself some slight indulgence and melancholy. Fight hard, play hard, right? As for Bobby, he's actually quite cute. He doesn't try to handle me with kid gloves. He's honest, caring, and likes to party. And I think he understands me. He listens and is agreeable. And he's fun. I'm going to rent a room at the Roxy Inn. It's so more convenient. Bobby can sail up the Nibbin estuary into the lake. I love it there, by the lake. Reminds me of Riften. I'm sure Dragonborn would approve.